River has no story. How could it, when all is sung at once? Just a body of silver sprawled across the earth, coital and vocal, as trains of vortices carrying the tattered leaves of early autumn, spasming and shivering, licking and lapping, entwining with roots and mud, otter-spraint and stickleback scales, hunks of algaed quartz and small stained glass windows from the wings of dragonflies, water crowfoot dancing like green flame in the spiralling eddies. River has no beginning or end. How could it, when its flow is cyclical and ongoing, when the source high on the moor is just another outlet or inlet of the sea's circular breath, just a dancing of flesh that is liquid and free. River has no narrative structure. How could it, when the rupture in the old mountain giving rise to a cold fountain can be seen from all angles at all times, as a birthing, as a dying, as a living crystal moment, leaving the underland greedy for light and greedy for dark, just a trickling and a dripping, just a moving and a currenting, a gathering force, a white horse running, they say, but river will not be tamed, bound by form, appear as it might, in the dusk or the dawn. River is not just water, how could it be? Taps spout water, sometimes purer than rivers, and river water is rarely pure, sometimes barely water, a cocktail of parlour washings and slurry from the farmyard floor, pouring down the hidden rivulets and entering something still called river. River is a liquid idea springing from the dark depths of our minds, rising up as a thought, as a word, and in reality moving in ways hard to pin down, hard to decipher, this tangle of flow, this gestalt somehow moving through itself under gravity's rough guidance. To be sure, beware the river metaphor, analogy, allegory, beware the human river, but also bear in mind that we would do well, could make ourselves well perhaps, if we too learnt to move through ourselves as water does, travelling the only way it knows, in its groove, in the thalweg of the quiet valley's course. And what of this particular river? Some call it Teifi. I call it river of dream, river of memory, river of secret bends, river of overhanging roots and dark, damp halts, river of sleep and wakefulness, where grasses sway long in its neighbouring meadows, and in the may trees and sloe trees, and in the goat willow and alder, the wren flits and the magpie sits, and the wood pigeon flutes her longing to the Teifi mist that ghosts the surface of this liquid slate. Teifi's a working river, worked too hard now. We harnessed her once, and her 100 parent streams, to power industry, the 100 woolen mills of Dravach, the hidden factory of Gaer, the corn mill of Kenarth. Worked her hard, to be sure, but kept her waters acceptably clean. Now the queen, whose salmon were so plentiful, now the drunkard, full of pure peaty ale, suffers from our runoff and our plastic, our hypochlorite and our spillages. We behave as gods and forget that, when we poison the brown god thus, we poison the blood that runs through our own veins, alter the thud of our own hearts. When we cannot care for our rivers, we have lost our way. And as the river has always shown us, there is no turning back. River is dream, epiphenomenon of the old earth, born of the rock's longing, oniric offspring of underland and overland, wandering, watering, travelling and conjuring the faces of 1,000 small gods and the traces of 1,000 small hells between heaven and earth. I have been many times to the sources in the hills, close to the centre of Wales, where grooves in the peat channel and merge and form the first flows that join and grow and gather to pool together into Afon Teifi. I have seen the skylarks and the ravens there, the kites circling above vast plateaus of moorgrass. I have followed the way of the river, down from the hills through sleepy farmland to the sea. This, for me, is a river of memory. I never had a family home whose walls could hold my past. Instead, my moments have fallen into the river's soft mould, carried away, yes, but also stored. My memories held in the water's swell and wash, cupped in the cradle of the land's lap. And I will search among the pebbles where small spiders scurry and bittersweet bears its berries, lifting china and brown glass and stones that once were otters, looking for a shard of myself, or perhaps a shell that I misplaced long ago. It's possible Heron, who knows this river, found it once and hid it high in the limbs of an old ash to keep me running, searching, just like the river. River too is trying to fall back to the core, to sink straight down like the moon, which keeps missing the earth's heart. And so river ends up orbiting this land. Nothing can find what it seeks. This law is one of river's secrets, one secret of the heavens, and one of love's secrets too. And I love this river, which I've never found and often sought, but sometimes glimpsed briefly in a moment of grace.